Today I'm testing a product that I'm very excited to try, and that is this GoodNature rat and mouse trap. You store feed on a farm, you're gonna have rodents, that's just a given. And I've not had a ton of luck with traditional traps. I've got poison in the barn now, and I kind of want to move away from that because I would rather encourage cats to live in here. And if I could use a trap that doesn't use poison, I think that's just going to be a lot better. So I'm excited to see how these work. These don't use any poison. They use a CO2 powered head knocker, we'll call it. And they automatically reset once the rodents go up in there and get hit. The traps come with these little cards that sort of give the rodents a sample of the bait, and it helps give you an idea of where your rodent pressure is the greatest. So I've set these up all around the barn a couple of weeks ago. We're gonna go around today and see where the rodent activity is greatest. We'll get the trap set up with a trail cam and see how it does. That's what we're doing today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. I put a bunch of the lure testers here on the side of the barn where I've been feeding my barn cat, in hopes that if we could determine that we had a lot of rodents on this side, that the cat would then find the rodents once the trap kills them and eat them, and we'd kind of create this cycle of the trap killing rodents and then the cat taking them away. Unfortunately, I have noticed that there's not a lot of rodent activity over here despite the amount of burrows going underneath the cement slab, and that's probably because of the presence of the cat. What you do with the lure testers is you just sort of squeeze a little bit of the bait out, and then you just kind of want to come back and monitor and see if anything's been eating it. If you get a lure taster where the rodents are actually chewing on the cardboard part of it, that's where you want to set your trap. So far, all the lure testers on this side of the barn don't have that. It looks like maybe the bait has been eaten, but not to that extent. But I also decided to put some lure testers on this side of the barn, and the spot that I kind of had the highest hopes for was behind this piece of corrugated metal. It's a great hiding spot for rodents to travel. They're gonna feel safe back in there. They're sort of out of sight. An owl couldn't see them. I feel like this is gonna be the one if none of those on the other side were it. So let's check this one, see what it looks like. That's exactly what I'm looking for right there. You see, they actually chewed up the lure tester. They didn't just take a quick taste and move on their way. That tells me two things. One, that they feel comfortable and safe enough to stop and eat here. And two, they like that lure. So I think this is a good place to put the trap. The first thing we gotta do is pull the red thing down. Next, we're just gonna pull this cap off of the back, and this is where our lure is gonna go. First thing we wanna do is get this little coin off of the back. Take that off. Just kind of work it down in here. So next we'll take our CO2 canister here and thread it in. My trap's got a counter on it, so we'll go ahead and put that on there. And just like that, we're ready to go. So let's go set this thing up, and I'm gonna try to get a trail cam down in there so we can see what's going on. All right, trail cam is set, trap is set. Now it's just a waiting game. It's been a couple of days since I set the GoodNature trap up here on the side of the barn, so I thought today would be a good day for a progress report. Oh man. Looks like we got 4 mice in that thing already. That's pretty impressive. So I think I'm gonna clean that out and then we'll reset it and see if we can catch some more. So the folks at GoodNature have claimed that after a while, it's not uncommon for predators to kind of figure out that what these traps are, and like say like this cat that I've been feeding in the barn will eventually figure out that the GoodNature trap provides it with a free meal every once in a while. So once you kind of get your barn predators trained to that, I don't think I'm gonna have to clean this out all the time, but until then, looks like that's what I'm gonna have to do. I decided to put a GoodNature trap here in my shop as well, but I didn't put my game camera up on it. And I'm really wishing that I would have now, because look at what I found. Just the day after setting this trap out, I've got this rat that's dead sort of next to the trap. It seems impossible that he just happened to die right here on the same day that I put the trap out. So I'm thinking that it probably got him, and maybe he was able to flop around enough to sort of get away from the trap. I'm not sure. I really wish that I would have been able to see what happened, but that's one rat down. I think I'm gonna move this because I think rats are territorial, and if there was one in here, then there might not be any others in this area, but I'm sure there's others in the shop. So we'll move the trap and see if we can't catch another one. Well, it's the next day, and as you can see, we caught this monster right here next to the side-by-side. I've been seeing some tracks and some evidence of rodents on the side-by-side, and I'm really glad that I caught this guy before he started chewing on the wires. I'm gonna have to put this clip in black and white because let's just say the trap did its job very well. And what I'm starting to learn is that when the GoodNature trap catches rats, that they don't necessarily die right inside the trap. It's not uncommon, I'm seeing, for them to sort of work their way out of the trap. So I guess I'll probably just go ahead and move this trap again to another spot where I suspect there might be some rodents, and we'll give it a few days and see what happens. Well, it's been several days since I put out the GoodNature traps, and in that time I've caught a ton of mice here in the barn. And what I'm most proud of is those 2 big rats that I got back in the shop. What seems to be working well for me is when I find a good spot, I'll leave the trap there until I stop getting catches, and then I'll move the trap somewhere else and you know, just keep moving it around and kind of rotating it throughout the barn and throughout the shop, and hopefully I can really get this rodent problem under control. The bait and the CO2 cartridge in the trap is supposed to last for about 6 months, which will easily get me through the cold months when my rodent pressure is the worst. If you want to get yourself a GoodNature trap, they're available through Gallagher. I'll leave a link in the description below. Use the code Farmertyler to get yourself a discount. I'm going to keep moving these traps around and trying to catch as many as I can. If I get any good big rats, I'll let you guys know about it. But until then, thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmertylerranch.